This trip was memorable for quite a few reasons. Most of all was the actual conference we went to in 2015. There was like 10,000 or so people there. There was a bunch of interesting workshops about all sorts of stuff. A lot of them were full, actually, so I didn't get to see all of them, but no. You got to meet all sorts of cool people from all over the U.S. and even some parts of Africa. They're just everywhere. Like, there's people from Montana, Wisconsin, Washington. In our small group, there was like, they're all over the U.S., so like mostly the eastern seacoast, because that's where Florida is. You didn't really ever have a reason to just sit around and do nothing. There was always stuff to do. I also found it kind of funny at the conference, their saying was, "Go on," and they put that on a bunch of t-shirts. And it was in all capital letters, so it kind of looks like they just said "goon." We also made a few other trips on the way to and from the conference. We went to this soap place where basically they took soap from partially used bars of soap from hotels and stuff like that. They got sent to them, and they sort them out, and then they melt them down, and then make new bars of soap to send over to Africa and other impoverished countries which have problems with hygiene and stuff, so they really do need it. It was pretty cool to be part of that process, mostly because it smelled good in the warehouse. We went from here down to Florida, and on the way down we didn't do any mission work, but once we were going back, we stopped at the soap place, and then we went to, I don't know what the place is called, but basically what they did was they sponsored like people coming over from impoverished countries, and they like helped start them out in the U.S. They gave them like an apartment and jobs, and then like stuff to put in the apartment. And basically we all worked in the warehouse where they had like a bunch of furniture and stuff to like fill up their apartments with, and it was all run on donations, which was pretty cool. And that was pretty fun. It didn't smell as good, but it was pretty cool. And also, I'd like to thank all the people who supported us, because we had no way of getting there without you, so thanks. And yeah, it was pretty fun overall. There was a few times where I either ran in the van with no phone or something, and you're just kind of bored. But once I got home and took a shower, I realized it was pretty okay.
I'd like to start off by saying thank you to everyone who supported us. It was an amazing trip, and it wouldn't have been possible without you guys buying all of those cookies. The trip was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me because I was too young to go to Youth 2011, and I'll be too old to go to Youth 19. So I was extremely grateful I was able to go, and I had never experienced anything like it. One of my favorite parts about Youth 2015 was the Bible lesson that we had every morning. It was led by a guy called Sam Yoon, and I had to look up his name. But the reason I really liked it was because all the things that he said were just really relatable, and he threw in references to like social media and Scooby-Doo, and so everything that he said was very easy to tie back into our everyday lives. So every night after dinner, we had small groups, and we're all in this one ballroom, and it was really, really crazy because there's 80 different small groups in there, and each group has between like 5 and 8 different people, and they didn't have like places numbered by their groups, and so you just had to like walk this entire ballroom to figure out where you were, and they weren't helping, like honestly, they were just yelling into the mic trying to figure out where everything was, and so it was very chaotic. And I was already really nervous because when I'm by myself, I get really, really shy around people I don't know. And before we had settled down during the first night, Joe comes up to me and he's like, "Hey Claire." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "So the group leader is determined by the closest birthday, so that's going to be you." Because I had just had my birthday 2 days ago while we were on the trip, and so unless someone's birthday was that day, I was going to be stuck with it. And I mean, I was so nervous. I was like dying in here. But I mean, it turns out I had absolutely nothing to worry. It turns out I had nothing to worry about because my group was really awesome. They were all super nice, and they were all from the south, and I was the only one that was like farther away. They all drove only like 2 hours to get there, so that's fun. But we had great discussions both nights, and it was a really good time. We only went 2 nights, but hey, so fun. So again, thank you to everyone, and if you want to hear everybody else's stories, come to Fellowship Hall. And happy birthday to Stephanie.
Experience, and her story of overcoming that was very inspiring. Another inspiring speaker was Telly Gadsden, and she spoke and she was really loud and she interacted with us and she was very passionate, and her message was very important too. She told us that love will always win and that hate never does. She was definitely my favorite speaker, and adults weren't the only ones who spoke. There was a girl named Tana who was 13 going into 8th grade, and she already knew what she was called to do. She got into missionary at a very young age, and she told all 5,000 of us how she raised thousands of dollars to build clean water wells for communities in Africa. That really showed us that we don't have to wait until we are adults to take action. I think that that was the overall message of the conference, to get into a deeper understanding of faith now and not when we are adults. Hebrews 6:1 was the main verse. The verse basically told us that it is time to go on and be more mature about our faith. The trip had its ups and downs, but we all made memories we will never forget. Once again, I'd like to thank the congregation. Without your help and care for the youth, we would not have been able to have all the amazing experiences we had. Thank you.
I don't want to talk too much because I think these youth have done an excellent job telling their stories, and I do hope you will join us in Fellowship Hall. Each of them will be sharing a little bit more about our trip. I just also want to say a huge thank you to this entire congregation, this community. Wow. I'm going to be completely honest, a week before we left on our trip, we were still a little ways from our goal. And it's something that those of you that know me well, I wasn't sleeping well, and I was worried about how we were going to make this work. But God came through, and this church came through, and I just want to say thank you so much. A couple moments that I want to lift up is I want to say how exciting it was when we finally got there. We were very tired. We were a little behind schedule, a little bit, because as you'll probably hear more of, we had some traveling difficulties. Our vans were doing okay, but the Countryside van had some issues. So going, we kind of got stalled a little bit, but it was a blessing because we were at a church, we weren't on the side of the road. And then coming home, we also were on the side of the road, but we got kids off to safety, so we had a little bit of a delay. But the first day we were there, we were getting ready, and you get there, we were supposed to have like 4 or 5 hours of free time, but we didn't have that due to our delay. And we were trying to get the kids to eat something before we went into worship. And it's very exciting as a youth director when, and sorry Jake and Adam, I'm calling you out on this one, but we're getting ready to go, and we're trying to make sure that they eat, and they said, "Can we hurry up, please? We don't want to miss worship. We really want to be there for worship." And that truly was the spirit of the entire trip. None of the kids complained at any time, like, "Hey, we got to go to worship today." They were so excited. And they had some time between 12 and 4 where the place we were staying at had water slides and fun. But every single one of them were at worship, and they were with our small groups, and they came together with Countryside, and we had a really, really good trip. So I just want to say thank you so much. Pastor Janet, who is supposed to be on vacation, made sure that every morning or every evening she checked in with us, and she would text and see how we were doing, and we were able to tell her, yay, everything's going okay, except for the last day when I said, yay, we're kind of stranded, but it's okay. Enjoy your vacation, and we'll be great. But thank you, Pastor Janet, for taking your vacation time to do that. It truly is a gift to be in this church and to be in this place where we have 24 kids coming during the week, and we had 19 kids on that trip. It really is something that they are still talking about that trip, and I know that in 4 years, 5 years, I was talking to some of the kids that went 8 years ago, and they still share that story. But the one thing that we're really good about telling them is that this congregation loves them and appreciates them and really wants them to take the next leg. So I won't say anything more than that. We'll share more in Fellowship Hall, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Thank you, Tina and Lori and Joe and Countryside for going with us. You're going to hear, just because we went to a beach, life wasn't a beach the entire time. But God is good all the time, and He sees us through all that. So thank you so much for your support and love. We appreciate you. Amen.